The year is 1946. Preston Tucker is making moves to take the world by the balls with his all-new car, the Tucker. The car was years ahead of the competition, a car with so many innovations at a time when America was just coming out of World War II. The Tucker was advertised as the car of the future, rear-mounted engine, and supplied by Franklin air-cooled engines, which Preston Tucker owned to make sure that he would have a steady flow of engines. But what if I told you the engine that was in the trunk of the Tucker was to be something truly special? The original engine was an absolute monster, 589 cubic inch displacement, flat boxer 6. The original engine was built from the ground up, designed by Ben Parsons. The engine was built of cast aluminum with a magnesium oil pan. A really cool feature of this engine was the hydraulic actuated valves. In a traditional engine, the camshaft lobes would actuate the valves, opening and closing based on timing, but in the Tucker A589, as the engine would be called, there wasn't a camshaft per se, but a single cam lobe which actuated a plunger, allowing pressurized oil to act on a piston which opened the valves. This system was quiet. Also, the valves could be arranged in a different arrangement. Combustion chambers were hemispherical combustion chambers with overhead valves, and the engine was to have fuel injection. And to think, this is 1946. This car was definitely on the World War II high. Anyway, an oil pressure distributor was needed, and it was mounted in line with the ignition distributor and delivered appropriately timed direct oil pressure to open each valve at the proper intervals. Each valve was timed by intake and exhaust eccentrics and measured by spring-loaded plungers. The pistons were large, and they were built of aluminum and magnesium castings with steel-plated cylinder liners. This engine was to be a low-revving, low-stress power monster with a theoretical idle of 100 RPM and operating in a range between 250 to 1800 RPM, 589 cubic inch displacement, Tucker A-589, Boxer 6, 9.65 liters. It's good for 150 horsepower at 1800 RPM. Up to 450 pound-feet at 1800 RPM with a bore of 5 inches and a stroke of 5 inches. Only 3 were built. Preston Tucker had some high expectations for his power plant. His original idea was to connect the engine to the rear wheels via torque converters on each wheel, driving each wheel in the back. This design wouldn't use a transmission, but there would be issues that would appear. Issues included, but not limited to, the complicated drivetrain proved to be very problematic. Tucker was promising a 150 horsepower car, which was a good number for this era. Packard 320 inline 8 from their Super 8 only made 145 horsepower, but his engine was only producing 88 horsepower. Another huge issue was high oil pressure required 24-volt electrical system, which wouldn't find its way into a car or truck until the Cybertruck in 2023-2024. The engine needed 60 volts to start. Tucker engineers wasted almost a year trying to sort out those issues with the 589. Preston Tucker saw the writing on the wall and started to look for other engines that could work. Lycoming had an aircraft engine that looked promising, but it did not fit in the engine bay. Franklin air-cooled motors 0335 looked like it would fit the bill. Tucker bought 4 examples. That engine was a helicopter engine that was air-cooled. Tucker had his engineers work on turning the air-cooled engine into a liquid-cooled unit. Tucker made other modifications to the engine and would endurance test it 150 hours at full tilt. Tucker was impressed with the results. Tucker would buy the Franklin air-cooled motors for $1.8 million to secure engines for his new car. It's worth mentioning that Preston Tucker, when he bought Franklin air-cooled motors, Franklin had control of the aviation market, having about 65% of all post-war U.S. aviation engine production contracts. He shot himself in the foot and canceled all of them, which was a huge loss of potential income. The Franklin engine was an air-cooled Boxer 6, converted to liquid-cooled. It was built of aluminum alloy. 334.1 cubic inch displacement Boxer 6, 5.475 liters. It's good for 166 horsepower, 3,200 RPM. 372 pound-feet or 504 newton meters at 2,000 RPM, bore of 4.5 inches and a stroke of 3.5 inches. Compression is 7-to-1. Theoretical 0 to 60 was 10 seconds with a theoretical top speed of 120 miles per hour. Tucker's automotive empire started to come apart at the seams. The big three, General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler, really wasn't making anything new after World War II because they spent tons of money on tooling before the war. Plus, they had to stop automotive production for war production, giving companies like Studebaker and brand new companies like Kaiser Frazer and Crosley, as well as Tucker, a head start. Tucker was advertised as the car of the future. The big three couldn't compete with Tucker. 166 horsepower, 120 mile per hour with safety features. So they kind of banded together to take them out, using the press to write fake stories about Preston Tucker being a con artist. Preston Tucker needed capital to build his cars, and the way he made money was to sell accessories for the cars, which led to indictments of company executives. All charges would eventually be dropped, but the negative publicity destroyed the car's reputation. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. Since there's nothing to really compare in this Would You Rather segment, a little bit different today. Do you guys have any cool Tucker stories? With only 51 being produced, it's a really rare car, but sometimes people just have some really cool stories. If you have a really cool story to share about a Tucker, put it in the comment section. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me an email at what_it's_like@yahoo.com. Thank you all so much again for making this a car community. Until next time, toodaloo! Hello, you have reached me, Arnold. I can't come to the phone right now. I'm out killing pepperoni. If you want a pizza in the next few days, leave your name, your number, your serial number, how tall you are, and all the other ridiculous information I need to know. So what kind of pizza do you want? If you want pineapple, I'm going to kill you. If you want broccoli, I don't have broccoli, but if you want pepperoni and 9mm bullets, you've come to the right place. Maybe I'll give you the pizza. Maybe I'll staple it to you.